going on, guys, and welcome to the very first video on the My Stocks Journey channel. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video on the My Stock Journey channel. Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the My Stock Journey channel. So, hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the My Stock Journey channel. Hey, what is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the My Stock Journey channel.
What an incredible feeling. After 8 months of hard work, dedication, and consistency, after 82 videos being put out on this channel, we finally hit 1,000 subscribers. In today's video, I did just want to take a step away from the stock market and just have a chance to really interact with you guys who support my channel and are subscribers. I had you guys drop comments in the comment section on my Instagram and all forms of social media that, just questions that you might want to ask me for this here Q&A. I did gather up my, like 5 or 6 of those questions, and I did kind of just want to talk about them in this video. It's just a way for me to really be able to introduce myself to you guys if you don't know me, or if you haven't been around for a while, and really just be able to, give back to you. Y'all have been the ones who have made this work. This whole channel was just an idea that I had. I really just wanted to track my progress in the stock market, and it slowly turned into like this news update investing channel, or I don't even know. You guys really do support it, and you guys really love it, and I just love putting out content that you all like to see. And so really being able to give back to you guys really brings me this joyous feeling, and it really makes me feel satisfied. My name's Tyler Hill, and in today's video we will be having our 1,000 subscribers special. It is a Q&A, and I will just once again be answering some questions that you guys did drop to you. So with all that being said, if you guys do support the channel, if you are checking this out and you do just care, support me, I appreciate it, and I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's take a dive into the very first question. So the very first question that I actually got this like 9 or 10 times, was what do I do for a living? Now, of course, I guess whenever you guys see like my stock portfolio and you see I'm only 19, you kind of just want to know, like, okay, like what are your income sources and what all do you do to be able to invest? I think at this point my portfolio is at like $21,000. Well, it's really not that much. Now, it might sound a little bit crazy when I tell you, but I actually have 3 or 4 different income sources. So my very first one is I am a manager at a retail store named The Buckle. Now, Buckle is just a clothing store. We sell a lot of jeans and clothes and a whole bunch of different items, clothing, apparel. And I've actually worked my way up to becoming one of the managers at our store. Now, my store is in a mall, so we do get a lot of traffic. I do get to engage with a lot of people on a daily basis. And having this YouTube channel has actually helped me a lot in my job, because with this, I have to sit and just talk into a camera and really be able to figure out how to articulate the things that I'm thinking. And so it has actually translated over to my job, and it has helped me out a ton. I did start working at Buckle about 2 years ago. I started working before then. My very first job was at a pizza restaurant in town. I worked there as a dishwasher and worked my way up to a cook. And then over time, I realized just the kitchen scene wasn't really for me. So I made the switch over to working at a retail store where I could make commission. And basically, the better I did, the more money I made. And that has definitely been, a very big driving factor in my success and what all I've been able to accomplish at, only 19 years old. Now, the next one is actually the biggest one. It is the one that a lot of people don't really realize about me, is I'm actually an MMA fighter. So I started training in MMA about 10 years ago now. I've been training, doing jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and all these different things. And I actually had my very first kickboxing fight at the age of 15. Well, I had 12 kickboxing fights over the course of about 2 years. I went 11-1. I had one a little rough loss, not gonna lie, but I did pretty well in the kickboxing scene. I decided last year in the middle of 2019, which is when I turned 18, that's when I decided that I wanted to take my first steps into the MMA world. I did go ahead. I had my very first fight last August. I had my second fight in November, and then I had my third fight in January. Now, I actually have not been able to fight almost all of this year due to everything going on with the pandemic, but we are getting, contracts signed, and we are getting back in that cage real soon. So maybe if you guys do want a little update when that comes around, definitely let me know. Well, I have gone and won all 3 of my MMA fights. My very first fight, it was a very close fight. I fought a very tough guy. It went to the decision. And if you don't really know MMA, basically you fight for 3 rounds. If you don't stop the other one, like if there's no knockout or submission, then it goes to the judges, and the judges decide who won just based off the strikes and everything like that. So I did win that fight. I won my very first fight on August 3rd, 2019. I then moved on in November 7th. Me and my team took a trip out to Texas. There was an event going on named Cajuns versus Cowboys, where a bunch of Louisiana guys had individual fights with a bunch of Texas guys. I actually fought the number 3 ranked contender in Texas and Oklahoma in only my second fight. I went out there and I finished him with the choke in about 2 minutes roughly. And then in January, I did fight another top 10 contender, and I did get a knockout finish in that fight as well. And that is where the story goes so far with MMA. Of course, I do have big dreams. I have big aspirations with MMA, but it's a one-step process. You can't think too far ahead because this is, this sport that I'm in is very unforgiving, and there are ups and there are downs for sure. Now, a few other little income sources I do have are I'm also a coach at my gym, so I do coach some classes. I teach people how to fight basically, and I do private lessons as well, which is individual lessons where I kind of just go over different, techniques, and it just kind of depends on who you are. If you're a fighter, I'll give you more strategies based off of, getting in the cage, or if you're just an everyday Joe who's learning how to just defend themselves, we also do self-defense as well. So that's pretty much sums up exactly what I do for a living. Now, of course, I do day trade a little bit here and there on Bitcoin. I do some other stuff like that, but it's really not significant enough to actually be considered an income source yet, but who knows, maybe that will come soon. Now, the next question that I have is, what is my goal with investing? So this is something that actually took me a very long time to figure out. And honestly, when I first started investing, I couldn't answer this question. And that's why I wasn't really consistent with investing, because it was kind of hard to just put my money into something every single, week or 2 weeks without any real reasoning as towards why I'm doing it. But as time went on, whenever I really started to realize what I wanted to do with my life, my dreams and my aspirations became much clearer. And then that enabled me to want to invest and keep up a consistent investment schedule much easier. Now, like I said earlier, I am an MMA fighter. My coach is a UFC fighter. A lot of people around me are UFC fighters. And of course, that is my end goal. If you don't know what the UFC is, basically when it comes to fighting, it is the NBA of basketball. Like every basketball player wants to make it to the NBA. Every MMA fighter wants to make it to the UFC. Now, of course, that is my goal and that is what I'm aiming for. And if I do reach that, I would like to fight for as long as possible until eventually I become a coach or I own my own gym. Now, I am also getting a degree. I'm getting my bachelor's degree in financing. So there also could be some alternative routes if fighting doesn't go well. But fighting is currently my focal point and where I'm trying to go. So at the end of the day, whenever I, maybe if I decide that I'm ready to retire, I fought my fights, I've opened up a gym and I'm ready to retire. What my goal is with investing is to eventually allow my investment portfolio to pay for all of my real life expenses. Say hypothetically, I do get to the point that, I've made my money in fighting and I'm ready to retire and I have my own gym. Well, I would really like for my investment portfolio to really fund all my, everyday expenses, maybe having to pay my car note or, maybe my house mortgage or just whatever. So I would really like to, maybe my car note, maybe my mortgage, maybe my insurance, just those type of things. I would like all of those just fixed, expenses to be paid for by my investment portfolio. That's really my goal. Because what my goal is to be able to not have any expenses going into the month. And then whatever I work for, say whatever money my gym makes, I can then use that to reinvest it into my gym and just grow that without having to worry about paying all these bills outside of the gym. Basically, I'd like to separate my work life, like whatever's going on with work, I'd like to keep all that money and reinvest it into my business, and all my real life expenses are just covered by my investment portfolio. Now that's really far out, and that's a lot of money that I will need to invest by then, but hopefully it does come to fruition. I'd have to do the math to figure out exactly how much I would need in my investment portfolio to maybe get paid out in dividends or receive a certain amount or take a certain amount of money out every single month to be able to pay for my expenses and keep it still growing. So we'll see, it's just my end goal at the moment. I think it will get a little bit more narrow as time does go on. But at the moment, once again, I am just trying to get my everyday expenses paid for by my investment portfolio. The next question is going to be, what was my very first investment that I ever made? This is something I'm super proud of, and this is something that I was honestly really lucky. And I will go ahead and I'll read it here. So my very first investment was on December 18th of 2019. I invested $10.50 into Tesla. Now, as you can assume, that went up a lot, like that doubled, maybe even tripled. Now, honestly, it wasn't even that much. I sold it somewhere once it hit like $20 or something like that because I was just super hyped. Now, again, this was a very, very lucky first investment. Like I remember whenever I made this investment, and that was the only thing I had invested because I really did not understand what was going on at all. I just put some money and I was like, okay, let's just get my feet wet. Let's just see what happens. Well, I put that money in, and then next thing you know, like 3 weeks later, I see it like double. I'm like, oh my God, I figured it out. I'm a genius. Hashtag balling. I really felt like I had it figured out. Then of course I went ahead, I put more money into different things, and I lost a whole bunch of money. And you guys know how that cycle goes. You first think you're starting to pop off, and the next thing you know, you're down in the dirt trying to figure out where all your money went. So that's what happened to me. My very first investment was into Tesla. Now, honestly, don't think it could have gotten more lucky at that point in time, but it was definitely a learning experience, and it was kind of an unfortunate way to get in the market because it gave me this big over sense of confidence that I knew what I was doing that got me burned in the long run. The last question that I'm going to put into this one, now I don't want to overwhelm you guys with too many questions, and I like to answer them with a little bit of quality. If you guys would like another Q&A video sometime in the future, definitely let me know in the comment section below. I love making these and I really love interacting with you guys. But the very last question is, what are some tips that I have to upstarting YouTubers to maybe get your first 100 or maybe your first 1,000 subscribers? Now, I will be, probably making a very big video on this because this is something I get asked quite often, but I will go ahead and I'll lay it out to you guys exactly what I think is super duper important. Now, the first one is going to be figuring out what you're going to post and post about it a lot. Because one thing that I struggled with is when I first made my channel, I really didn't know what I wanted to post. I was kind of just making a whole bunch of videos just randomly, just like, oh, let's just talk about that or that or that. And I didn't really, consider or factor in if people actually cared, or if people wanted to look at it. In my head, it was really just more like, I'm gonna just talk about what I want to talk about. And if people care, they will. If they don't, they won't. And that's not really a bad thing. It depends on what you're making your videos for. If you want your videos to actually gain traction and to see your channel grow, it's really not the best idea to just post randomly at random times about random things, because realistically, that lack of consistency is gonna burn you in the long run. Now, whenever we are talking about consistency, I do wanna go and, I wanna put out there, whenever you hear these YouTubers talking about some post every day, you need to post once a day because that's the only way to get a lot of subscribers. Honestly, I don't buy it. I think your subscribers are going to watch your videos one way or another, but realistically, the majority of the people who watch your videos aren't going to be subscribed to you. I think my viewership from subscribers is only 35%, meaning only 35% of my views come from people who are subscribed to me, and that's on the higher end compared to some of my friends on YouTube. And realistically, it's all about the algorithm, and it's all about how consistently you post. I've noticed that whenever I post on a certain schedule every single week, that's whenever I see the best results. And it does help your subscribers too, because they know okay, Tyler posts on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at market close. So they know every time the market closes, they can rely on me. Now, this is not actual, but they can rely on me to have posted at that certain time on that certain day. And that will make sure, you're maintaining a strong connection with your subscribers. And then once you establish that strong connection with your subscribers, more people want to subscribe to you because, you're keeping that consistent schedule. And then that's going to, of course, grow your subscriber count. Next up, one thing that is super important that's not talked about enough, and I'm going to make a whole video on this soon, so just, be in tune, is interacting with your fellow YouTubers. That's something that people do not do enough. You'll see these people go ahead and they'll make video after video after video, but man, they're really not doing that great. And you wonder, man, why is that? Why are they posting video after video and they're not getting well? Well, the thing is, nowadays, there are a lot of YouTubers. There's a lot of competition. And the thing that you need to focus on is making sure that you are making friends. Especially in the YouTube financing community, it's super important that you're reaching out to other YouTubers, you're watching their content, you're giving back feedback, and you're really just interacting with them because of two things. Well, people are going to go look for people like, you or whatever you and your niche are to interact with. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to comment sections. They're going to see who's commenting on whose posts, see who's active. And if they see you all the time just in comment sections, giving back good feedback, giving back some criticism, they will automatically want to, interact with you. And it becomes this cycle of interacting with each other that you will notice start to gain you subscribers. I remember whenever I was going out when I first started my channel, I was going and I was commenting on dozens of videos every single week. I would go into the little, the YouTube search thing, and I would filter down all the way. I would type in investment or other keywords, and I would filter that thing all the way down to videos that had been posted that day. And I was just simply going and interacting with people, and it will make such a big difference. You'll start to build a little bit of a friend group on YouTube. People will give you advice. You can start to do little collaborations, and it's really so beneficial because trying to do YouTube all by yourself does get kind of difficult, because whenever you're doing bad, the whole community might be doing bad. Viewership might be down for everyone, but you'll start to take it on yourself as in man, maybe I'm just not doing anything right. Or maybe viewership for the whole community is doing well, but you're not doing so good. And you're like, okay, well then you realize like this is a me thing. So let me reevaluate and let me see what I need to do to get my channel back going. And it's stuff like that that's super duper important to really figuring out exactly where you want to move your channel. And so that's one of the most important things that I would offer to any smaller YouTubers who are coming up. Now, of course, my channel has a lot of growing to do. I am nowhere near satisfied with 1,000. It is just a nice little milestone to see. But once again, I will be posting an entire video on little YouTube tips and stuff that I do believe will help a lot of you guys. And so if you want to see that, let me know in the comment section below. It would help a lot. Well, that will be it for today's Q&A. Once again, thank you guys so much for the 1,000 subscribers. I don't think you understand what it means to me to really have this following and have this subscriber group who support me so much, show me so much love, and give me so much good feedback and criticism. I really appreciate every single one of you. If you stuck around, if you stuck to this point of the video, thank you so much. Drop me a little smiley face in the comment section. But with that being said, I will be posting out more content this week. We're going to keep this train going. Hopefully, maybe, who knows, 2,000 subscribers might come even faster than this first 1,000 did. Let's see what happens. But with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Keep being great, keep being awesome, and I really do appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Peace.